Welcome to Raunchy Power Hour, a book club for discussing romance, from the erotic to the erroneous. As always, this is an explicit podcast and contains strong language, adult themes, and sexual content. If you are sensitive to these things, we urge you calmly but sincerely to turn off your radio now. This month, we are reading The Nightmare Before Kissmas by Sarah Rash. This is part 1 of The Nightmare Before Kissmas. This podcast will contain spoilers through chapter 11. If you want to read along with us, stop listening now. It's okay. We'll wait for you to come back. This book contains themes of emotional abuse, abandonment, death, grief, and alcohol abuse. You have been warned. I'm your producer, Ashlyn.
What are your hosts, Sydney?
I'm another host, Christina.
Now get ready to get Christmassy.
That was very cute, Ashlyn. That was so
really cute.
Stinking cute. Well, Christina, welcome back. So I have a question for you.
Okay, what's the question, Sydney?
If you could name a book, a holiday book specifically, very closely to a famous holiday movie, what would you name your book?
What's my book about?
Something, it's like a holiday romance.
Alone.
That's
Alone.
pretty good. Alone. I like that. I like that a lot.
What would yours be?
I need a minute.
It's not a family-friendly book, I've decided.
The sexy clause. God. Well, on that note, Christina, you remember this because you've obviously read this book. Well, this month we read A Nightmare Before Kissmas by Sarah Rash. Very cute. It's very cutesy. And before I go into doing our summary of the different chapters, I'm going to give us all just a little bit of info before we really jump into it. Is that okay?
Aye, Captain.
There we go. So, fun fact, this book was published less than 2 months ago, and it was only published October 8th of 2024. If you are listening to this in 2024 or early 2025. So the author of A Nightmare Before Kissmas, Sarah Rash, is also actually just a pretty popular just YA and adult fantasy author, which I thought was very interesting. I did not know this until I looked into her. But she's the author of The Witch. She's a co-author of that book, which is a very popular book right now. But The Nightmare Before Kissmas is 368 pages long. And on Rash's website, the book is described as red, white, and royal blue meets The Nightmare Before Christmas in a sexy, quirky rom-com where the golden-hearted Prince of Christmas falls for the totally off-limits Prince of Halloween. Which, that is the book. It's a very, very good description, honestly, of the book.
It's a good description, but wait, where's The Nightmare Before Christmas? Is it just the name?
I think it might just be the name or the fact that it's Halloween and Christmas interacting. I don't know.
Wait, yeah, that would make sense. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's if Jack Skellington and the Santa and that started making out instead of just
sold.
Sold, right? Yeah, come on, Tim Burton, get on that. But out of 5 stars on Goodreads, we have an average of a 4.05 out of 6,814 reviews as of this recording. And on Storygraph, we have an average of a 4.1 stars out of 1,983 as of this recording. So, before we get into it, I will introduce our two main characters, which is Nicholas Cole Claus, who is our Christmas prince, and Hex Hollow, the Prince of Halloween. I just described him as tall, goth, and has a deep voice.
I think that's a pretty good description right there.
Yeah, and I just wrote for Cole, fuck up, question mark? An Air Christmas.
With curly red hair.
With curly red hair. That does get mentioned quite a bit. But Christina, do you think I'm missing anything before we really jump into it?
I think also like Iris is a big character.
True.
Yeah,
so
she's
we also
our
have
Easter princess.
She is our Easter princess. So we have Iris. I'll introduce Iris, who is, as Christina said, the princess of Easter, and she's BFFs with Cole, but also his only by a couple months younger brother, Chris Claus. And yeah, we'll get into their dynamics and everything going into chapter 1. So when we get into the book, we are met with a crisis because Cole is having one. He is getting drunk at a bar in New Haven.
We love a crisis.
We love a crisis. He does say a line about the vodka martini, about being like, oh, you know, a shot of vodka, like just on the verge of being a martini. And I was like, okay, it was a little cringe. And I didn't love the book when I first started it. I will say it grew on me. Anyway.
It is a lot of cringe.
It's kind of cringy. I love her though. I do eventually come to love her a lot. But we're in this crisis. Cole's at the bar drinking his sorrows away when his brother Chris comes to him and he's like, dude, what the fuck did you do? And long story short, what we find out is that Cole was training to be Santa Claus because, as we've kind of hinted at, Cole is going to be the next king of Christmas, aka Santa Claus. And in doing this, his dad has been like training him to be Santa Claus. Well, we have a problem because Cole and Chris's dad, I'm just going to call him Dad or Santa throughout most of this, just because I don't really remember what his name was. So Santa.
King Claus.
King Claus. We'll just call him King Claus. He is not the most emotionally available parent to his children, nor just available in general. So he's been teaching Cole all these responsibilities, kind of. It's been more of a PR move. So Cole, being upset, goes to what is called, I don't remember if it was the Merry Meter or it was the route
North
planner.
Pole database.
The North
is
Pole
what he
database.
had accessed.
Thank you. So he accesses the database to just like read up on other letters that kids had sent into Santa. And a couple really hit him like hard, especially about this child who like wrote to him being like, hi, Santa, Daddy's not coming home. Could you help my mom financially so that she doesn't have to worry about us for Christmas? And
ouch.
I would be moved as well. Yeah, I was like, oh, wow. But what Cole decided to do is that he was going to fulfill these wishes, like these Christmas wishes for the capital of a small country called New Koa. The problem is it's June and not a great time for Christmas presents or money to just randomly appear in people's bank accounts. So he does this because he wants to feel good. He wants to like help these people. And when it happened, when the news breaks, he's actually at his now ex-girlfriend's birthday party. His ex-girlfriend is named Lily, and she's Iris's older sister. Doesn't really come up later. Just thought I'd bring it up now. And the news breaks that he's caused like a lot of trouble because of all these wishes fulfilled, and also somehow an economic collapse. I wasn't 100% certain how that happened, but I just kind of went with it.
It was a lot of like, oh my god, robberies, hyperinflation. The whole place is in, like a meltdown.
This is where Sydney saying that money doesn't exist and inflation isn't real, it becomes a problem because it's inflation. Fake money makes real money not worth money.
But money is truly just a concept, and we live in a society. So anyway.
You know what? Real.
I don't think any financial bros are listening to our podcast, and if they are, I don't know what they're doing here. Joe Rogan's on your next playlist over.
If you're a financial bro, listen to our podcast, hit me up. I want to talk.
If you're a financial boy and you're listening to the podcast, let us know like what you think happened in this book in the beginning. Like, explain it.
Yeah, can you actually tell us what happened? I'd really like that.
What's hyperinflation?
And why would that cause rubbers?
It's inflation of money. Why is it bad? Don't we want bigger money?
Don't we want more money? I'm like really confused.
I just use credit card. I don't know.
I don't get it. So this all happens, the news breaks, and on top of it, Cole and Lily were going to like break up at the end of her birthday party just because they weren't really feeling it. It was like a mutual breakup, but obviously with all of this and him foreshadowing her birthday, not a good look, and she was pissed at him. I would be too. I'll be for real. And because of all this, he's
doing too good.
No, this was not a great night for Cole Claus. But it's about to turn around. Because while he is lamenting some of this to his brother, his night does get worse first because he does get a call from Dad, and Dad is pissed. Like freaks out at him, tells him he's basically like worthless. And that he's a fuck up.
It introduces like the daddy issues so early on. Like
so early.
This is all the first chapter still.
I know. I just wrote so many daddy issues in my notes.
It was like so dense with all the issues that this kid has. Like you're just sitting there and you're like, oh my god.
Oh my god. And then on top of it, this is when we get revealed that Nukoa is like going through financial crisis and da-da-da-da. Now, dear reader, listener, whatever you are, you may be asking yourself, but how does the world not know there's a Santa Claus, or that all of this wasn't caused by holiday magic? There's a holiday press, which covers, like basically the celebrity gossip of all the different holiday royal families. And then there's like us normies, our press. And basically what they were saying was it was some sort of cyber attack or something like that.
They said on one of the headlines, it says, presumed bank and shipping errors lead to rioting as citizens buy out stores, robberies increase.
Yeah. So, not a great night. So Iris shows up, and Iris, like we kind of said before, she is another Easter princess, and she is BFFs with Cole and Chris. And she's like, dude, what the fuck happened? And Cole's like, hey guys, I've had a really bad night. I think I need some air. So instead of just telling them what his good intentions were, he goes, I need to go outside. And
that's
so
a good answer.
Yeah. He does deflect. And honestly, a good representation of Cole's character at this point. Because he does grow. He does get better. But stick around. But he decides to go outside, and he goes to the back because at the front he sees holiday press, and I'm not going to go into that because he like did a whole info dump on us. But he goes to the back, and he goes out into an alley, and he's like basically having a panic attack and like freaking out when a hot new boy has entered the villa, aka the alley. And he's tall. The alley. Because he's tall, dark, handsome, and has a deep voice. And they proceed to have this moment where Cole is like, feels like he can't actually tell him what's going on because he'd like blow his whole cover. And then the guy's like, well, sometimes you just need to focus in on the now so you can like find that base and everything. And Cole is so moved that he's like, he has a bi panic moment and he goes, oh wait, this guy's really hot. And then they proceed to make out.
In the alleyway. I'm pretty sure he went through like an employee exit.
Yes, he did. He did, in fact, do that. So they're like making out and having this hot makeout sesh, and Cole like does pause for a second and go, this could be a press guy that I'm making out with. Wouldn't be great for my image of on top of doing all this shit and breaking up with my girlfriend that night, I'm now just making out with a random dude. But as he's thinking this thought, he hears the door open and it's Iris calling for him. And he pushes the guys away, turns to look at Iris, and he goes, oh, sorry, like, it's nothing. And then as he turns back around, the guy's gone. Whoosh, into the night.
Poof.
Poof. And Cole is like, I don't know if he was real, but I still taste him on my lips and stuff like that.
And then he throws up.
Just pukes on Iris the shoes.
I'm like, and that's like, I'm like, what?
It was a whirlwind of a first chapter. Let's just say that. You thoroughly have to get invested from here. You're like, okay, I do need to see what the rest of this is about.
This is also where you kind of start getting like right at the end of that, like it's like still technically the first chapter, you're getting like text chains, which I do find fun. If you like those, like in Red, White, and Royal Blue, the text chains are really fun in like a good way that I feel like the humor is introduced. Like there's lots of like one-liners in the text.
Yes. So we do get like a little text combo about Cole having to pay Iris back or gift her new shoes, which were very expensive. And Cole's like, holy shit, I didn't realize how no, it was Chris. Chris didn't know. And Cole's like, yeah, dude, they're really fucking expensive. And Iris is just like, get your shit together, Cole. And he's like, well, yep, we'll do. And then we jump to a year and a half later. We just get a little jump and it's Christmas time yet again. And Cole is in his dorm and he does not want to go home for Christmas. Like so many college students don't. And
oh, no, I love to go home. I like to break.
I'll say, I feel like he can relate to a lot. But he's really dreading this year because his dad has a scheme cooking up, and his dad basically says like they have a big announcement, which is weird because usually his dad would just tell him and Chris before like the event so they could, you know, be perfect and ready for the photo op. So it's really odd, but Chris magically appears and we get a little bit of Christmas magic lore. Basically, if you put a little mistletoe in your doorway, it becomes a magical doorway. So then the Claus boys can come on, and that's how they get to so many houses in one night.
Wait, that was such a fun little detail, and I feel like it's not used that often.
I know. I was like, we could use that more, guys. I thought that was very cute too.
It was so cute. There was a lot of like cute lore, and I'm like, spoiler alert, it doesn't happen a lot later.
Yeah, I know. I wish we did have a little bit more. But Chris is also teasing Cole about not having a serious relationship since Lily. And Cole's like, well, I've been banging my roommate on the side. And Chris is like, dude, not the same thing, a serious relationship. And this is when Cole's like teasing Chris because he's like, well, you love Iris and you haven't told her, and we've like known her all our life, so I don't know what's up with that. So they finally get to the North Pole, and Dad is acting shady. We get like a little bit of shadiness. Oh wait, no, but before this, on top of daddy issues, what else have we got, Christina?
surprise, mommy issues.
So many mommy issues. But basically it's revealed that mom just not a nice person either. Which is why the Claus boys are just so emotionally unregulated.
She literally just like up and left for is it the Caribbean?
She just left one day, which is all we know at this point. That her and Santa are divorced and that she's in the Caribbean and that she sends them like a weird holiday photo, but it's like kind of Instagram model-esque. But Cole's done with her bullshit. Chris is still kind of holding out, like kind of wishing in a weird way his mom would come back. Anyway,
the mom is dating a beach detector.
Yes, right. I forgot about that.
Which, like, and then they're like, what is that? And it's like people who scour the beach with metal detectors.
Yep, that's it. That's what her new boyfriend does instead of Santa.
Instead of Santa. I'm like, I guess it's the opposite Santa. Of being a frost.
Yeah, I guess. So they are in the Christmas castle. There's hustle and bustle and holiday cheer, and they change into these outfits to go do this first event where Santa is going to make a big announcement, and Cole's like, I don't like that Dad's not telling us what it is. So they're at the celebration of hanging a bunch of ornaments on the giant Christmas tree, and then Iris and her dad is there, which is kind of weird again, because usually it's just for like the inner circle of Christmas, the Christmas court, and some like reporters. And this is where it is revealed that not only has Christmas Daddy and Easter Daddy decided to use their children as pawns.
Good names.
Yeah, but they announced that not only is Cole going to grad school, which he does not want to do. He's not good at school, and he's just skimmed his way through school. But also that apparently he and Iris have been courting and now will be formally doing it and will see a marriage in the future, which is a shock to everyone involved.
They said, oh, yeah. Marriage?
Marriage, question mark? So, Christina, I know that this was kind of like a thing in the back of the book. So it wasn't like a huge surprise when this happened. But still, what were you kind of feeling? It was a surprise to you? Did you not
I didn't read the back of the book. No, because I think it's more fun with like, because rom-coms always kind of spoil what happens. And so I'm like, oh, I'll figure it out. And like, I actually did not see that coming.
So you were genuinely surprised?
Yeah, because like I picked up that there was going to be like Halloween in the mix. And I was like, oh, a rivalry. But I don't know why I didn't think Easter was involved.
Well, it is, baby. So it was genuinely a surprise for you. Okay, good to know. Continuing on, because I knew I read on the back of the book and I read that something was going to happen. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we've got a lot of angst and we've got a lot of shock from both Iris and Cole. Iris a lot because she never thought her dad would like come to that level, and Cole is not surprised, but he's more like mad at his dad that he's using Iris like without her consent, basically. So Cole kind of leads Iris out so that they have a minute to, you know, sit and think, and then this is when it's revealed that things have not been going as well in Easter as Iris has been letting on. And it's because Dad married a normie. Easter Daddy decided that he didn't want just not a normal Easter mommy. So apparently in these courts, there's a lot of different houses, and these are the houses that make up the different like parts of the holiday. So like, for example, in Christmas, there's like the Frost family, or I just had
carolers.
One. It was like, The carolers, thank you. I was thinking of like Jack something, but I can't remember what it
Jack
was.
Frost.
Or the Jacobites. The Jacobites. I don't know.
Jacobites. I think, yeah.
Thank you. And I was thinking Jacob Marley from A Christmas Carol. I just watched him up at Christmas Carol. I had just watched him up at Christmas Carol, so that's just me.
Honestly, good timing. I liked all the names in this book, like all the little like the creations of the holidays being courts. Like, was it Lentora? Is Easter? That's so fun.
I thought it was very fun too, but yeah. So Easter Dad decided that he didn't want to marry from within the court, and he fell in love with a normal person who then became the Easter Queen, and the court wasn't too happy about that. And this all leads back to Iris also having mommy issues because her mommy died.
There's so many mommy and daddy issues introduced in the first 2 chapters.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, does anyone have like a normal family? No.
No, not yet.
Not yet. And so, yeah. So Iris is obviously really upset because she was like, I wanted to fall in love like my dad and my mom, but you know, I guess responsibilities. And so when Easter Dad and Christmas Dad come into the room, Cole and is like, why would you do this? Like, how dare you? And they're like, this is just the betterment for the holidays. We're just trying to like spread joy and cheer, yada, yada, yada. And
it's honestly, this part is really well written because
it is.
You feel it. Like at one point, Cole says, quote, "You know what you did was wrong," I say to Neo when Iris is quiet. "We're not pawns."
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's well written where like you feel bad.
Yeah, and honestly, out of a lot of rom-coms, I like this conflict in this book, because sometimes you read a romance book and I know you, Christine, understand it, I know you, Ashlyn, understand it, I know you, the basement, understand it, and I know you listeners know when you read a romance book and the conflict is so fucking stupid. And you're like, oh, there's something here. Yeah, you're like, oh, it makes sense, give it to me. Nom, 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 nom.
Yeah, because it's like courts. It's so easy to eat it up because it's like, yeah, duh, they did this back in the day. They can do this now, sure.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also like, oh, well, it's political and like they have to. Okay, yes, this makes sense. Thank you. Honestly, Sarah Rosh, if I can call you that. I very much appreciated this conflict that was added into the book, so thank you. I needed this. I needed this sweet little treat. So yeah, Cole and Chris are also pissed because remember, Chris is in love with Iris. So seeing his big brother marry her, not gonna be good. We're just gonna have family issues in general. Anyway, later that night, after everyone's gone to bed, pissed off, actually, before I say that, there was a very cute text message thread, which I will point out specifically because Cole is like teasing or saying something funny in the group chat. Oh, he kept changing the group chat name.
I
just
loved
like stupid things. This was so funny, and I especially loved it because I also hate Elf on the Shelf. But basically, Cole kept changing the group chat name, and every time he did it, Chris was threatening to put another Elf on the Shelf hidden in Cole's room. And I was like, thank you for the Elf on the Shelf slander. I appreciate that.
And all of this was so clever.
It was. What was it? Christina, can you look for the names and tell us what they were? Some of the group chat names that the Claus boys put out?
So all this kind of happens after they figure out, like, not only is it like, oh, courting, but like the marriage and stuff like is happening at the Christmas Eve ball. So they're like trying to figure out like what's going on because there's like a Halloween welcome party and they're like talking about boycotting. And so it starts out with Iris and the Claus boys, and then it becomes, Nicole names the conversation "Two Bros and a Ho Ho Ho." And this is where the text chat becomes less serious, because it was serious before this. And then Cole names the conversation 50 Shades of Slays.
I did like that one.
Which is really good. And then Chris starts talking about, like, he says, for each time you make a mockery of the English language, I'm going to hide one elf on the shelf somewhere in your room. And so he goes, I marked it because it was really funny. You're up two elves with those beady, soulless eyes, just watching you from the shadows. You won't know where, but you'll feel them studying, learning, waiting. Like, that's very good. So good.
It was very good. But this is at the next part. This is when after they've gone to bed, they wake up to a ruckus occurring downstairs. So Chris and Cole run back to the ballroom area, where suddenly Halloween envoys have come to Christmas Town, not Halloween Town, Christmas Town now. And they are like, Christmas has been taking too much of the cheer and is trying to monopolize all the joy, and we see this as a threat. And Santa's like, what do you mean it's a threat? We just want to spread joy and happiness. But if you want to send your own prince to come court Iris, I guess we'll do that.
He's giving evil Santa from the Santa Claus 2.
Is it 2? I can't. There was 3 movies. And I can't remember which one. 2? Okay, and then 3 was the one when Jack Frost becomes classic Santa, right?
Okay, I literally had never seen any of the Santa Claus movies until this weekend, so it's very funny that you bring them up. It is number 2.
These.
Wait, you had never seen them?
The Santa Claus?
None of them. Never.
Ashlyn.
That's crazy.
I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry.
Those are good. Talk about daddy issues.
No kidding.
Bad dad, bad Santa. I mean, I'm seeing some parallels.
I am seeing some parallels, but can we also say that Bernard the elf was one of our first crushes as a child? I love Bernard. I thought Bernard was cute. Leave me alone.
It's so funny. My focus as a child was that I really wanted that hot chocolate.
I mean, that too.
Bernard
the elf.
Listeners, let us know your thoughts on Bernard the elf. Where did you fall on this?
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hot is Bernard the elf when you were a child? I hate this. I hate the context in which we brought this podcast. So yeah, Halloween shows up. Yeah, what a segue. Halloween shows up and is like, we wanna throw our hat in the ring, I guess. And no, Christmas kind of twists it and it's like, oh, you guys should try for Iris's hand. And they're like, okay. So it's either a day later or it's a couple days later when it's the official welcoming of Halloween to the Christmas castle.
Wait.
And
when he first shows up, that's when Cole is like, hey, that's the dude I made out with in the alleyway.
Yes, I was just about to get to that part. But yes, you are right, because literally as all these spooky ooky people come in.
Sorry. Cut that. I thought we just jumped ahead. Whoopsie whoopsies.
Jumped ahead. Whoopsie whoopsie. It's okay.
It was Bernard. I got distracted.
Bernard the elf. All right, we'll cut that out. Cut that out.
Mm-hmm.
Start from here.
Cut it out.
So yeah, a couple days later, or the day later, I do not remember our timeline. This is when the official Halloween court shows up to be like, ooh, we're ooky and spooky and bad. And Chris and Cole have to be there to, welcome them. But they're kind of up in the balconies. They're watching. And as this happens, like the darkness fades and suddenly Cole sees a very familiar face. Oh shit, it's the guy from the alley. Dun dun dun. Yeah, so nope, that's gonna have to get cut immediately. We cannot sing that here.
I forgot. I just thought I was doing a kissy tune, and then I was like, whoops.
You just did the McDonald's jingle. We cannot use that.
No, I know. What even? Guys, I'm sorry.
It's okay, we love you. So yeah, but this is the big reveal that Hex is the guy that Cole made out with all those years ago, and Cole's like, oh fuck. Why didn't I look up his face sooner?
Bow chicka wow wow. That's what I was thinking of. And then I accidentally did the McDonald's jingle.
Well, Cole did think Hex was pretty yummy, so.
Yeah, actually, like I have it marked here. It's like in their son, Prince Hex Hollow. His name rebounds in my head, cracking into the parts of my body that have gone immobile, and against every rational thought. I have no rational thoughts, none, not in this moment. I remember how to inhale, and I gasp loudly. Yep. Attention swings to me. That's so dramatic.
There are a lot of gasps, a lot of gasping dramatically. Oh my god, it's so silly, but I kind of love it. So next day, Cole is wallowing. He is just freaking out. He's just like, I am totally screwed. Because the guy I made out with in that alley that both Chris and Iris think was fake is real, and he's technically my competitor for Iris's hand. But the whole thing is that the reason that Santa is quote unquote allowing them to do that is that it's basically already a dead done deal with Cole and Iris getting married. So he's like trying to placate them is what he says. So yeah, he's like completely freaking out, and then he goes up to Hex. I don't remember how they like get to talking, but they begin talking, and Cole's trying to figure out if Hex knew who he was when they made out in that alley, and Hex was like, yeah, I did know you, and I also was the one who Hex thinks he's the one who initiated the kiss, while Cole is the one who thinks he initiated the kiss. So Cole's like, what?
It's like a moment. And then he immediately goes straight to the text right after. Yeah, I was like, it's so dumb. And so dumb. New text is, baby, it's cold outside.
Yeah.
And I like that it goes there, and they're like, oh my god, wait, he's real.
Yeah, they're like, oh shit.
Like, you didn't make up this guy that just poofed.
Yeah. Oh my god. But yeah, so
the next text chain, because Iris changes it back to Iris and the why am I struggling with claws? Santa Claus. Iris and the Claus boys. And then Cole names the conversation, when I think about you, I touch my elf.
Very fun. I do like these. I was pretty tempted to steal these for our group chat name, but I decided to keep the one that I created, which was Dawn, we now are gay in all capitals apparel.
Perfect.
You're welcome, everybody, for
Perfect
that.
for this book.
Yeah, truly. Especially with all the bi and gay panic. We've got a lot.
Wait, the next conversation name was Cole changes it to not just the stockings are hung, and then Iris changes it to Cole is overcompensating for his tiny candy cane.
Yes. Oh, and then it got locked by Chris. Yeah, that was very funny. God. So, this is actually the next day. Sorry, the whole conversation between Cole and Hex was right after it's revealed that Hex is the Halloween prince. So Cole goes to Iris and he like brings her breakfast, and they have a little bit of a heart-to-heart about how they both feel about their holidays and their responsibilities, because I mean, neither of them are happy. And it's also kind of told that Iris originally wanted to go to art school, and she was kind of coerced into doing something similar to global affairs and stuff like that so that she'd be able to run Easter someday. And she reveals kind of stuff about how her dad is handling like the court and the pressures, and then also like how the court doesn't really see Iris's father as like a strong leader. And
which is all very sad because mommy issues.
So much mommy issues. And then also talks about late stage capitalism and taking things too fast and like plastic tickets.
And all this is happening while they're eating what sounds like the best breakfast meal with the cinnamon roll pancakes. I had that marked. And like, which like all this is like very serious, but I'm like, I got a little distracted with the food descriptions.
I might be begging my mom for cinnamon roll pancakes when I get home, and maybe we can have those Christmas morning. That sounds delicious.
Like, I kind of want that. And like, I do like that you get this scene set up with like all this food and then like a serious conversation, but like it's also kind of like it feels like pulling at teeth getting Cole to do the serious conversation.
Yes. Well, Cole is very much not the type of guy to take responsibility and hold on to it. But it's more because, I mean, if you can't see it by now, honestly, when I picked up at this point, I was like, obviously he's going to get more serious and care more. I think it's because he cares too much and he's scared of like that. And that's what's hurting him. So he'd rather be like more aloof. And that's kind of what I got from his character. Yeah.
Yeah. He says like, I do care. I just don't see how caring will change things. Like, that's so sad. Mommy and daddy issues got to him.
So sad. Oh my God.
And then they talk about how like they love their old traditions. Like, it was very Christmassy and sweet.
Also, what I'd love to. Yeah, I know. No, his mom left. Her mom died. So missing moms all around. I will say it did kind of feel like a Disney Channel direct movie, because remember how like whenever like the main character is like running out of the house because, you know, he's gotta go, and there's like this gorgeous breakfast spread that like supposedly the mom had made, and he only eats like one bite of something. I'm like, that's what it felt like sitting as a reader. I was like, just eat.
That is true. That is such a good comparison. It felt like they had a whole feast. Like, he literally goes into the kitchens and they're preparing meals, and he's like, see ya.
Yeah, basically. Well, no, he like gives it to Iris and then they don't eat it. And I'm like, eat it. Tell me what it tastes like. Please.
I'm just hungry.
Yeah, I know, right? So, but the event of today is going to be reindeer racing. So Cole leaves to go get ready. And he comes back out and he's all decked out. Get it? And he's wearing his snowsuit and everything, getting ready to go. And when Hex comes out, Cole's instantly like, he's got so much of the hots. You can definitely tell that Chris has got the hots for Hex, and Hex definitely has similar feelings towards Cole. And while they're like staring at each other like this, Cole basically like tells Hex what the rules of the sleigh ride are and that they're gonna go do it. And Hex is like, well, Princess Iris, are you doing it? And she's like, hell no. I will not be doing this. And somehow, in some way, Hex is convinced to then ride with Cole on the reindeer racing.
Because was it King Claus or was that Iris?
I think it was King Claus that's the one who pushed him to do it.
Which is an insane thing to do.
Yeah, I don't know why he would have pushed that. I feel like the press image would have been weird, but it's chill and whatever. So they go sleigh racing, and Cole and Hex are, like so enamored with each other that by the time the gun, like the start gun goes off, like Cole is basically in last place because he was like just staring into Hex's eyes for so long. And they start racing and things are going well, and there's touching, there's grabbing, there's like some heat and action building when suddenly Hex gets thrown from the sleigh. Cole of course freaks out, goes to check on him, and it's like Hex is fine, but he's like, but you promised you wouldn't do that. Foreshadowing for later. And
this whole
Cole's
scene
like,
to me was fun.
Yes, this was very fun. It was very fast paced. And then as they're like again looking deep into each other's eyes, they like jump apart because Chris is like come up because Chris is second at this moment. And then Chris is like, you good? And Cole's like, yeah. And he's like, did you kill the Halloween guy? And Cole's like, no. And Chris goes, okay, and just rides off to go win the sleigh race.
Which this is so fun.
That is very much a younger sibling, older sibling kind of thing to do. She'd be like, you good? Yeah? Okay, I'm going to go beat your ass.
No, because at this point, like, it's clear that Cole was, like, way in the lead. Like, yeah. He was in the lead enough to go searching for Hex because he, like, disappears in the snow. Like, he has enough time to be, like, frantically searching. And then his brother just, like, good. Bye!
Yeah, I'm gonna go with this thing.
Like, so it reminded me a lot of the chariot racing in Percy Jackson.
Yes.
It was like, I liked that energy. I think this was one of my favorite sections of the book. Like, revisiting it, I thought it was so fun. Or very like pedals to the metal with the Adventure Zone.
Yes, it's
sleigh ride.
What do they call them in the Adventure Zone?
Battle wagons?
Battle wagons, thank you.
Yeah.
Listeners, if you don't know what we're talking about with the Adventure Zone, you need to go listen to the Adventure Zone, the Balance Arc. It is amazing, and I love it so much. I won't elaborate further. Anyway, later that day, Cole is like, I really hurt Hex's feelings, and obviously, like, there's tension between us. I really need to apologize to him. What better way to do it than in the library? So we're in the library.
It's so cozy.
It's so cozy. I love it. I just want to snuggle. I want to snuggle up.
Food. There's more food that sounds fantastic.
But then they don't eat it again. I'm like, guys, just grab me the food and eat it.
There's too much pining. None of eating.
No. Oh, but I loved the pining. That was my problem too. I was like, ooh, pining. And a reason for pining. A literary feast.
No, I don't like that.
Anyway. So while this is happening, Iris and Chris are then employed to basically kind of distract Daddy Claus. And so Cole then goes into the stacks and tells Hex to meet him there. And they meet up, and Hex is like, so you wanted to talk to me? And Cole's like, fuck, this is like really romantic because there's like candlelit and like no one's here and it's like dark. We're in like, we're kind of hidden like shit. And Cole's like, look, dude, obviously I feel like there's tension between us, and I kind of like you. And Hex is like, I kind of like you too. And then Cole just like spills the beans because he just went, by the way, this whole engagement thing, it's so fake. Like, actually, I'm like, whatever happens, like, I'm going to marry Iris at Christmas Eve. And Hex is like, yeah, I know. Your dad's blackmailing me. And Cole's like, excuse me? Santa is doing what? Blackmailing you?
And I like how Cole goes in and thinks he has the upper hand here, and it's like he actually doesn't. He doesn't know more.
Nothing. He knows so far less. And Hex is like, you didn't know? And Chris is... I keep saying Chris and Cole. I'm so sorry. Cole does not know a thing. Did not know a thing because his dad has not been training him or like telling him any of like the deep dark Christmas secrets. So I did write that Chris did like, I won't let him hurt you thing to Hex. And I just went, oh no, not a Jason who hurt you moment. My weakness.
Oh my god. And it happens kind of early on. Like they only had like one dealio. Like
yeah. Well, then here is when we get some hot kissing. We get a hot makeout sesh. So we're making out. We're going in the library. And honestly, wait, I need to read this line. We do get an Elsa moment. But I need to bring up this line really quick because when I tell you I squealed with delight when I read this, I was like, so they're making out, and Cole is thinking this in his head, and this is when I squealed, listeners. Things like, I've missed you. I know that's insane. We're barely friends, and tell me you've thought of me a fraction as often as I've thought of you, even just once. Please, please.
And then right after he says, you taste as good as I remember.
But why was that kind of hot? Christina's judging me, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm judging, but like I get it.
It was just the
little moment in the dark corner.
It was more of just like thinking in his head, like, I want him to tell me that he's thought of me a fraction of what I thought of him. I was like, damn. Damn. That's a line. That's fire right there.
I feel like that's something that you pull quote that.
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
no.
When that's mine. That's a very good quote. I like that a lot. Anyway, they're broken apart because Iris is basically like yelling like, Cole, like, what are you quote unquote reading? Knowing that he's having a quote unquote conversation with Hex. So they break apart, and then they realize that Cole has just put a ton of ice like on the windowsill because he got so hot and horny that he like couldn't control his power for a second.
It's so goofy because it's like it's literally like a little Elsa moment, but then it doesn't happen again, does it? Like I don't remember happening again.
Okay, it doesn't happen again, but Hex does bring it up later when
true,
when bow chicka bow wow starts happening. So anyway, this happens, and Cole's like, I'm gonna go talk to my dad, and Hex is like, good night, Prince Cole, and skitters off. And then Cole instantly is like, I gotta go talk to my dad after having a hot makeout sesh with a tall, dark, and handsome prince. So he marches on into Dad's office and is like, what are you doing, Dad? And Dad's like, were you talking to the Halloween boy? And Cole's like, no. I do love him. He's very stupid. Very much fueled by his emotions.
He likes to march into a room and then get surprised.
Yeah.
He has a lot of confidence.
Yeah. And You know what? He does learn from his lesson after a while, so that's good. But Dad's like, can you keep a secret? And Cole's like, sure, I can keep a secret. And Dad decides to reveal what his ultimate plan is and what he's been doing with the other holidays to help them like comply, quote unquote. And Cole is given this pamphlet about the winter holidays, and it's revealed that Christmas is taking large parts of their joy. And if you think about it like from like a business way or like a real life way, joy equals like money. And Christmas is basically taking a lot so that they can protect smaller holidays. And the reason this is really fucked up is because before Cole and Hex started making out in the library, Hex revealed that the fall holidays have something which is called like the fall holidays, like collective, where they pool all of their joy like in together. So they're all able to like pull from it.
Is it called the Autumn Collective?
Autumn Collective, thank you. And that's why Cole is like so pissed off with all of this. Is he's like, well, Christmas is basically just taking over these other holidays and like causing them to disappear out of our greediness to be like the holiday and for growth. So Cole is disgusted with what his father is doing, and
it's all very political.
Very political, has basically an existential crisis, and it comes to his realization that Hex is basically the collateral in this situation between Christmas and Halloween, because Hex is basically a prisoner because Christmas is holding over Halloween's head, that Halloween had entered like discussions with Christmas like a couple years back to join this like pooling, not this pooling of resources, but like be under the umbrella of Christmas, and then backed out. And Christmas knows that the Autumn Collective would not like it if they found out that Halloween had been trying to coerce with Christmas. I know that's a lot. That's so much.
This is where I was like, this is a lot going on, because I think basically it's like, oh, okay, so the Autumn Collective is like an alliance, but then Christmas is more like a merger where you realize like if joy is influence, they're just like taking all this power for themselves and just merging instead of doing like a, hey, we can all be the same and have an alliance.
Yeah, and like help each other out and like grow that way.
It's a lot of rom-com.
It's a lot for a rom-com, and a lot of this I think was definitely related to like capitalism and like colonialism, specifically talking about like within like a larger company taking over smaller ones. And I was like, damn, I did not expect this much commentary. But pop off.
Pop off, sis.
But pop off, sis. I appreciate it. So Cole has an existential crisis because he's like, oh my God, my dad is meant to be Santa Claus, you know, the epitome of joy with a man with a belly full of jelly. And he's literally blackmailing people, and he's now blackmailing the family of a guy I find really attractive. So like, this is really fucked up. Like I have to do something.
Like I said, evil Santa.
Evil Santa. Like he is not a nice Santa, and it's so sad.
He's like, Cole, I'm just giving you a test. Do you think you can handle it? Like, come on.
Yeah, just bad dad all around, because Cole is like, I need to, like, I've been wanting to step up, and I don't want to do like the fake bullshit that you've been putting me through for like PR and everything, just like make your image look good. So that's this whole thing. So next day rolls around. Cole is again just in bed, moping and kind of lying around. And Chris comes into his room, and then we just get like a lot of like unpacking about their mommy issues.
There's so much unpacking.
So much unpacking, and I'm not going to go into all of it. Because it was like a pivotal moment where Cole's like, oh, Chris has taken on this caregiver role, and I've never asked him like how mom leaving like affected him. Turns out not great. He always wished mom would come back. Womp womp.
No, and the saddest part is that he like, because Cole actually stays quiet because he's like trying to learn of like how to be a listener, and so Chris says like I'm just so sad thinking about it. He said that
I know
about her mom. She'd been reading me a book every night before bed. We'd only gotten a few chapters into it. I remember thinking she has to come back to finish it. She wouldn't just leave. The book isn't finished.
So and then, but then Christina, what book was it?
Bridge to Terabithia.
It's the saddest kid book. Like, dear God.
It's so sad. And so that's the book he never got to like finish with his mom.
Like, dear God, this woman is a monster. So
and that helps put Chris in perspective, in my opinion.
So much. Like, yeah, you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, Chris is baby boy. Chris deserves the world. He is. No wonder he is like infatuated with Iris, because he's just like, I need to have some womanly figure in my life who won't leave me. So might as well be my best friend. Anyway. I'm making fun of him. I'm sorry. It was actually a very sweet chapter. Next day, it's ice skating time. It's another PR event / just for cameras. So they get ready to go ice skating, and as they kind of go out, Chris and Hex, of course, run into each other again, and they're getting ready, and while they're trying to get into the sleigh, Hex is wearing a tie or something, or I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was a clothing item that represented Christmas, and Chris, something along the lines of, "Oh, you've been marked by Christmas," like someone tells that to Hex. He goes, "Oh, have I?" And then Cole like leans in close and he goes, "You'll know when I marked you." And I was like, Jesus.
I'm trying to look for where it is, because it's kind of funny in comparison. At the beginning of this like ice skating chapter, it's mentioned that Dad's in full Santa mode, red coat, red hat, trimmed in white fur. Yeah. And then so you're like, that's so dramatic.
I know.
I'm trying to look to see where's the clothing, because I know exactly what you're talking about.
But also, again, kind of hot. I may just be reading way too much fan fiction right now, so please ignore me. I might just be going ravenous for this kind of writing right now. And so our trio and Hex get into a sleigh, and they're all like bonding and talking about like their different majors, and then they find out that Hex actually spends a lot of his time in Mexico, and that's because his mother is from the house of Dia de los Muertos, and so throughout parts of the year she spends a lot of time back at her like home court to help run it, and then also obviously does stuff for Halloween. So, yeah, I thought that was really cool. And Hex does little teasing with Chris, being like, oh, yeah, you know, like the dead and ghosts and everything. And he's like, are those real? And Cole's like, Chris, he's fucking with you. They kind of all talk about how they're all kind of trauma bonded together because, you know, they're all like the heirs or the heir parent to these different holidays, and how they all have to take global affairs and yada yada yada.
Oh my god! Okay, I found it.
Thank you.
Please read it aloud. Inside of the jacket, or no, the tie on his black button-up, done with tiny jack-o'-lanterns and Santa hats.
It's cute. It's cute.
It's so cute.
It's so cute. I mostly just love the "you'll know when I mark you." I was like, oh, bro. I was like, from 0 to 60 real fast.
I feel like it's so funny because, like, so far their only, like, interactions have been make out in dark alley, make out in dark corner of library, toss him off the sled. I guess I forgot that one. Like, toss him off the sled, and then, then
Well,
show
but they're
up
about
and
to have, yeah. Well, they're about to have romantic skating, because they arrive at the little skating arena, and here it's in the middle of what's called North Pole City, which is where a bunch of
so creative.
it's so creative. But this is where I don't really know how like the people of North Pole City kind of fit into everything, because they're kind of in between normies and like the houses. You know, it's like
because they're not all nobles or
no. You know what? Actually, that would be a question I would ask Sarah Hosh. I'd be like, okay, what about the normal people who live in North Pole City? I have questions and you have answers for me, and I need to know if this is how this works.
I have questions about that too.
They show up, and the court and everybody is like gliding over the ice very, you know, gracefully, except for Iris, because Iris also didn't grow up ice skating. But Hex obviously does not know how to ice skate. And I will say this was a small plot hole that it's so small in this book. I did think it was kind of weird that Daddy Santa allowed Cole and Hex to kind of like skate around the rink for a while, like go around once or twice. I thought he would have immediately been like, Cole, go be with Iris. What the fuck?
Yeah, why wasn't he like helicopter dadding right then?
Yeah. He does eventually do it, but anyway, we get a very cute little romantic scene between the two, just having like a hushed private conversation while they're ice skating. And eventually Dad does come to break it up, mostly because he also sees Chris and Iris having fun and skating together. And he's like, you have to like project the image that I have put forth. And Cole gets pissed off and leaves to go basically comfort Iris. And Iris is like, yeah, your dad's a piece of shit. And Cole's like, I know. And he apologizes for everything and talks about how like he really wishes like they didn't have to go through with this. And if there was any way they didn't have to. And Iris is just like, Cole, just be my friend for now. And keeps asking her to like kind of lean on him. And she's just kind of unwilling because, you know, he hasn't been the most solid of a foundation, which is fair enough. So I don't know. It's a really nice moment between the two of them. And it also hints that Hex gets a little jealous when Cole and Iris are kind of like snuggling up on the bench because they're just having like this heart to heart. And Cole's like, oh, is he jealous? And she's like, yeah, dude, he's jealous. He wants to be the one snuggling up with you.
Ooh.
And it's also revealed that the reason that Iris's dad agreed to be a part of this kind of like umbrella, like corporation of Christmas and agreed to like the whole marriage thing was because he felt really Iris thinks he feels really inferior and he really wants someone else to like kind of lead him so that it's not like his full responsibility or he's like by himself, which fair enough. We get a lot of themes of grief and how to healthily and unhealthily deal with that.
And the dads are failing. They're not doing the best job here.
Hey, dads, let's do better. Let's do better here. But with the end of all of the daddy issues from both Easter Daddy and Christmas Daddy, that's our halfway point. That is chapter 11. So
Ashlyn's distracted.
She's so distracted. It's okay.
Oh, wait. Also at the end, it's really sad when Iris mentions that she says that she used to want to have a relationship like her mom and dad where they like knew she says, this is so sad. She says, I used to want a love story like my parents, to look up in a cafe and know it's you. And Cole says, "You could have one, a better one." And she says, "No." She meets my eyes. I used to want their love story.
It's so heartbreaking.
And then she goes on to say, like, "But I've seen what it can do now when happily ever after ends. This isn't a fairy tale, Cole. We're a prince and a princess, but it's our jobs, not some storybook title. And I know Easter has problems, but I barely know how to keep it afloat." And she just asks, like, what are we supposed to do? And that's really sad.
It's so sad. It's so sad. In the middle of my little romance book. How dare they invoke emotion from me?
We're getting deep here.
Yeah. Anyway, Ashlyn, before we go too deep into sadness, do you have any questions for us about this first half of this book?
I do have some questions. I have some mostly fun questions, which I hope helps.
Thank you.
So, first, what are your guys' favorite Christmas traditions? What Christmas movies do you watch? Favorite songs? What do you guys do?
Oh, that's a good answer. I mean, good question. Sorry.
That's a good answer.
Sorry, I'm tired now.
I feel. My favorite is that my family, we all have a gingerbread house making contest, and over the years it gets a little more and more serious, and me and my brother are trying to figure out ways that we can make the gingerbread houses be mechanical and move.
Interesting. I like that. See, every year on Christmas Eve, this is more because my brother demands it more than like anything else, but he always demands that we watch the Polar Express on Christmas Eve. And recently what I've been doing is if we're watching it, I'll make I make a really, really good hot chocolate, and so I'll make the hot chocolate and then serve it out during the hot chocolate like scene.
That's cute, but what a terrible movie.
Excuse you. I love Polar Express. I know it looks weird. I agree, but I love that movie. Leave me alone.
My beef with Polar Express comes from the sheer fact that I was in band for 7 years, so I've played it many years in a row. Many Christmas concerts in a row.
The hot chocolate song?
The whole soundtrack.
The Polar, the Polar Express theme.
Soundtrack. I couldn't tell you what the theme is.
I watch it every year. I do know the theme.
That literally does not help me. I only know the Josh Groban song.
When we get there. I forget that Josh Groban sings.
That's the only thing I know.
Children.
Before we get copyright claimed, actually, oh Lord. So Sarah Rash has a book club kit posted for this book that features a game called Kiss, Marry, Banish. So a little fun game. So I'm going to give you 3 things, and you have to kiss, marry, banish.
Okay.
First is going to be ice skating, cookie decorating, or a holiday movie marathon.
Okay. Instantly banishing ice skating because I can't balance for shit. And trying to balance on sharpened blades on ice does not sound fun to me.
I'm marrying.
Sydney can't walk in a straight line on her own 2 feet.
I can't. I'm actually really bad at it. I'm very prone to concussions. I will marry a marathon. The movie marathon. And then I forgot what our third option was.
Cookie decorating?
Well, cookie decorating, but what are we doing with the cookies? I am actually kind of concerned.
Kiss, marry, banish.
I'll kiss cookie decorating because my family and I, we actually don't decorate a lot of cookies, but we do bake a lot of cookies.
That's almost like kissing it.
Yeah, just...
Kiss, marry, banish. Christmas every day for a year, Halloween every day for a year, or no holidays for a year?
Wait. Christina didn't get to answer the last one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, wait, that's fine. My brain keeps short-circuiting.
Say that short-circuiting word one more time.
Okay. I think I would marry ice skating because I'm the opposite of Sydney and I love ice skating so much. I bought my own ice skates lately. I would banish the cookie decorating for no good reason, but because I want to kiss a marathon.
Kissing marathon.
Lovely.
Kissing marathon. Continue, Ashlyn.
Okay. Kiss, marry, banish, Christmas every day for a year, Halloween every day for a year, and no holidays for a year.
This is so easy. I banish the no holidays because that seems stupid. I marry Christmas every day because that's awesome. And then I kiss Halloween because I like Halloween, but more in like a kiss versus marry way.
See, I'm going to switch it with the marry and the kiss. I would marry Halloween because I think Halloween's more fun year round. Christmas, I'll kiss it. I do love Christmas. Don't love the music all year round, and I feel like if it's Halloween every day, you can still like listen to normal music.
No. I listen to Christmas music like almost year round.
Oh, I know. I lived with you.
So
that's
interesting. I have a very vivid memory of being outside of my dorm my sophomore year of college, which would have been your guys' senior year, ? And a car flying by blasting Christmas music in like September. And now I'm wondering.
It could have been me. Honestly, I would have done it back then, but I've been bad about it now because my job has a lot of Christmas all year round. So I have an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have done that back then too.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. Listen to Leslie Odom Jr.'s Christmas albums and then get back to me. Those are all year long albums.
Okay, but I've been listening to Jay Schlatt's Christmas album and it kind of slaps. Oh my god. Ashlyn, do you have any other questions for us before I wrap it up for the evening? Get it? Wrapping.
Oh, Lord. What do you think of the chemistry between Hex and Cole right now?
I get it. They're yearning, and I like the yearning, but it makes sense for them to yearn.
There's so much yearning and not a whole lot of like substance though. It's mostly just yearning.
But here's the thing, and here's my argument for them. They actually have conflict in which actively actually does keep them apart rather than, Pumpkin Spice Cafe when they're like, oh, I just want to be a big girl and I just want to reinvent myself. And the guy's like, I just don't want to love anybody because, I got my heart broken. That's not conflict.
We'd love a good opportunity to drag Pumpkin Spice Cafe.
I will drag that book. It was not good. And people are like, it was so spicy. I'm like, it was so bland.
This is an opportunity to go listen to our episodes.
Yeah, go listen to Pumpkin Spice Cafe if you want to see why I didn't like it a lot. I feel like I rated it way too high, but that's just me. I don't know. I've been looking back at my Goodreads stuff. Anyway, with that, I'm going to close it out for the evening. So, like Christina said, if you guys like the podcast, you should definitely go listen to our other episodes. And you should definitely go check us out on YouTube, on Instagram, on X, Twitch, Instagram, and for now, TikTok. RIP TikTok. You are being banned soon, which is very sad. But if you can't find us on TikTok, go follow us on other sites if you want to keep up with us and if you want to keep listening and see what we're doing. And yeah, with that, check back in next time to listen to part 2 of The Nightmare Before Kissmas by Sarah Rosh. And with that, I'll say good night to you, you irresistible elves.